Hello and welcome to the Snail Racing community event live on Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick. Alongside me for this evening's racing is Sam Kumo. We're here at the lovely Lime Rock Park circuit in the Skippy. It's a dream combo, Sam, and going to be fantastic watching these guys go at it for this 25-lap event.
Hey, good evening everyone. Yeah, and this is the new Lime Rock Park, not the one that we've grown so used to, so now we have the new chicane to deal with. And also we have the updated skip barber. It received a small update in this latest build, but it already had the new damage model, so this is basically the newest content that iRacing has right now.
Yeah, it really is. It's fantastic to see these cars out here. Need damage model, as you say, and will be a lots of hectic action, I imagine, today. We've got a fantastic grid as well. This community event for Anne Rabbit's YouTube channel, all her subscribers coming along for this event. Been a very successful year for Anne, so thanks for putting on this terrific event. I'm sure everyone's going to have a whole lot of fun. And at the moment, we've got about 25 drivers out here, and it's all very close in the timings. So it will be fascinating to see who comes out on top. Currently, Annie just in the middle of the pack. It is quite a good circuit, I think, to do these types of events, Sam. It's a track that, despite everyone having a lot of experience around the old circuit, not a whole lot has changed for this new circuit. And so I think everyone's going to be able to get up to speed quite quickly in this Skip Barber car. Whilst it's unique, again, you can kind of get on the pace relatively quick enough.
Yeah, I mean the layout is more or less the same, but I think the biggest change that, especially with these cars, you will notice the difference in the camber, because we have new tarmac here, it is much smoother. So some of the very minor changes in the driving lines are needed, because you might find that the grip is a little bit off to the usual driving line that you've kind of learned over the years. So that's where you really have to just forget some things that you have maybe found out, and then try to find the driving lines again. As we are here on board with Paul Spencer, as we are in the practice session right now. Paul is currently 6th, pretty close to the Herbert. Does he improve? Yes, he does. Wow, that was much faster time.
Yeah, 3/10. It doesn't look absolutely perfect as such, because you've got to be beyond the limit. It's one of the few cars that probably in iRacing where you have actually got to drive it to the limit and beyond. Most cars, really the fastest way is driving it smooth. You can see Paul giving it absolutely everything, hanging out the back end a little bit, and might just catch up these drivers ahead at an opportunistic time. Wants a bit of a slipstream coming out of the final corner. Paul really taking a bit of a turn in for that chicane, cuts the chicane completely though. And that will be an invalidated lap time. Of course, if they go over the curbs at that corner, could be the end of their event potentially. So do want to keep it out to there, but Paul is going to go for another lap. Currently, we've got Lindell McMurphy on pole position. Andrew Hopley for Meraki Racing, who took part in the Sim Racers World Enduro Series, along with Annie earlier on in the year. That was at Barcelona. Certainly do check out that championship and community, fantastic community that the Sim Racers World. Hopley can't improve that time round, about 2/10 slower than his best time, and that's a massive slide through turn 1. I guess with these new version tyres, Sam, it does mean in a qualifying session, you can actually go faster and faster, unlike in the past, where of course you had one lap and then the tyres were past their prime. I believe in this new tyre model, the tyres kind of just generate heat over a few laps, and you kind of got 5 or 6 attempts, especially around a short circuit like this, to set a really quick time.
Yeah, I've seen some talk about these tires, and I think with some of the cars they are even doing some weird tricks during the qualify to make sure that the tires are heated up. So at least I think what we are seeing here right now is that cars are constantly going faster and faster, and it doesn't seem like a little bit of sliding is even hurting the lap times that much, assuming you can get the temperature for the next lap. I see Hopley going for one more there, side by side, but oh
wow.
Well, there's your new damage model.
Yep, thanks Mark for demonstrating that to perfection, the car number 26, with a handful of rolls there. Of course, the cars should react slightly better off one another now as well. Anyone who's raced in the skip barber, to be fair, knows this anyway, and I mean knows this track as well, because this was used during week 13, it was used during week 1, I believe. So they really do know this very well. So we're probably talking, day 1 of learning this new card track combination, where there's some absolute pros, I imagine, already with this. A few of them out here tonight. Austin Knight, of course, sporting a Apex Racing TV livery tonight. Best of luck to him. We will be totally biased seeing that he is a commentator of ours. He's currently in 5th place. He was on the front at before. We are currently in practice, only about a minute away from starting a 5-minute qualifying session. Here comes Austin across the line, and he can't improve on that time. Big crash in the background as well.
Just take a look. Oh, that is right out of the pit entry by Correporino. But I don't think that's gonna be an issue in the race because there will be no pit stops. My understanding it's about half an hour race, if I understood correctly.
25 laps, which looking at the times at the moment, oh wow, that's superb maths for us. 1 minute, 0.2 lap time. So even I can work out that will be about 25 minutes for the race. So a little bit longer race than, well, actually I think it is about the same length race as the Skip Barber events usually are. So these drivers will be quite used to this one. And it's not an out-and-out sprint. We do cover shorter races than this on Apex Racing TV and on the iRacing Esports Network with the ARLTC and the BSR events in the past as well. So not mega short, but we are now just coming to the end of practice. Qualifying will start. 5-minute session. The drivers can set 2 lap times. However, they are by themselves for qualifying. It's a lone qualifying session. And when the 5-minute timer counts down, you cannot complete the lap that you started. So you've got to get those 2 laps done within the 5 minutes. It'll be very simple around a mega short circuit like this. Of course, you were saying earlier on, Sam, about interesting tactics that drivers have been using with this new tyre model. It's I mean, I've been racing in the Porsche Cup series, and drivers literally have been doing donuts on their first lap coming out of the pits before their qualifying lap, just trying to get absolutely any heat into their tires as possible. And it really does make quite a hefty difference because your time difference between, say, lap 2 and lap 5 is probably close to a second. It'll be interesting to see if any drivers use those tactics out here, and he's setting a very good example though, and keeping it nice and smooth out there and just lining up her lap at the moment.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at is there anyone who is driving perhaps very slowly on the outlap, but I'm not seeing that, and also Annie seems to be just taking like you would usually take, saving the tires a little bit on the outlap and then going for it. And she is actually the first one on the hot lap.
Yep, so we'll try to navigate these corners. Misses maybe the apex at turn 1, but as we were saying before, you know, you're sliding about in this car so much that there's really not a correct way to drive this thing. You can really get away with quite a bit, and whatever you find comfortable, it's certainly the way to go. And he's certainly not picking up any 1x's at the start of this lap. This perhaps going to be the most tricky corner, just threading the needle between the curbs, leaving plenty of room seemingly on the right and left sides of the car. Doesn't want to take a corner off the car. Otherwise, would be stretched for time to get in a clean lap time. And he's still doing a decent time at the moment. And she'll come through the final corner. This will be the benchmark then for everyone else to beat. I don't think we're going to beat the 1 minute mark, certainly not with this lap time, but a fast lap was a 1 minute 2.4 in the first session. It's a 1 minute 2.9 for everyone else to beat. With 2.5 minutes left of qualifying already, Lyndon McMurphy going to the top with a 1 minute 0.7. That's only half a second slower than we saw the fastest lap time in practice.
They are really on the pace right now, and considering how quickly Murphy was also finishing his first lap, I don't think he was also either taking any kind of waving or braking to really to heat up the tires. So maybe this car you don't really need to be so aggressive on the tire warm-up.
Yeah, no trials resorting to that seemingly. It'll be fascinating to see what improvement we see in this second lap. Of course, part of it is the Jazz being able to relax a little bit for this second lap. They know that they've got a banker in. There's not quite so much pressure. No doubt that Lindell's going to improve by quite a bit. He's currently on pole position by 0.4 of a second as McMurphy comes across the line. And it is a 1 minute 0.798, so he doesn't improve. About quarter of a tenth slower. So maybe I was wrong with my assumption that we'd see massive improvements. I think the bats also didn't improve too much either.
Well,
And
for most drivers, they did improve their sector times, but Lundell just didn't have a great sector 1 and 2. He did set the fast sector 3, but it just wasn't enough to really make up for the lost time in the sectors 1 and 2. Also, here is a very shiny car of Charles Kellerman.
yeah, currently in 5th place. Only 6 tenths off pole, that's a big slide, and I don't think that's going to be the fastest way. I don't think it's going to mess up his lap, to be honest. This could still be competitive. 1 minute 1.3 to beat. He picked up a 1x though at some point. It's an invalidated lap time. Stays in 5th place, but could do a lot of damage from that position as we enter the last 30 seconds. And maybe a couple of jars still yet to put a time. I think Mark Chorley is yet to put in his second lap time. 1.9 round the lap as he approaches the line, taking a slightly unusual line as well. And that was an invalidated lap time as well. So he remains in 7th.
So do we only have Ian Worrell that is still outside here? And no, that is most definitely in lap. And we are pretty much ready to go for the grid soon as it shows up.
Yes, we are. So on pole position is Lyndall McMurphy with Derek van der Muren in 2nd place. Paul Spencer and Austin Knight make up the 2nd row of the grid with Charles Kellyman and Peter Jolly on the 3rd. Then behind that it's Mark Chorley, Rachel Williams, Arjun Kramer, Edgar Sanchinelli, Ian Worrell, Mo Aghar, Anu Rabbits, Corey Boudinot, Mark Bradshaw, Michael Jones, Gary Boodzine, RJ Wouterman, Andrew Hopley, David Hall, and Stuart Musselwhite, rounding out this 21 car field. That's fantastic to see them all lining up on that pit straight as well. It's got a couple more just to get on to the grid to, of course, 25 laps this event, approximately 25 minutes, of course. And this start could be absolutely pivotal around a track that is relatively tricky to overtake as the jars are already revving up. I don't think Lindell has got to the start as we pull away. Derek pulls away from the rest of the field. Austin Knight in 2nd place, Kellyman in 3rd. Spencer having a poor start, drops down into 4th place, but crucially, Lyndall McMurphy not on the grid for the start, and he loses his pole position. So it's Van der Muren out in the lead. Knight managed to get past Spencer. Kellyman staying in 4th place. Chorley gets past Jolly as well.
Yeah, I wonder what happened with Lindell because he should have been there. I got confused a little bit because he wasn't there, but now he is still. He's now in the race and all the way at the back of the field.
Great shame for him after a really impressive qualifying as well. As Andrew Hopley trying to make up some place. He's already up 4 places from his starting space, and I think he's about to gain another one. Not easy to overtake around this place, just because pretty much every single corner is a fast corner, and there's not a mega long straight. But Hopley making sweet work of these moves at the moment. He's now right behind Annie Rabbits, of course, his former teammates, and I think Hopley with a superb run round the final corner will move up into 12th place as Mark Chorley has just got ahead of Charles Kellyman.
Yeah, moves here at the front as well. Also, by the way, that was up 7 positions for Andrew Hopley. Oh, and we do have an incident here on the third one.
Car involved, and Whitson-Wood as well. Here is how it happened. Whitson-Wood seemingly a little bit ahead and just spinning across. It was a 3-car collision, nearly a 4-car collision in the end.
Yeah, it seems like one car lost control under braking, kind of scared the other guys. Just then some panic braking, and that's just really racing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. None of them benefiting from that too much as we see a change for second place. Spencer getting ahead of Knight, crucially. So that is a big move for second place. So losing a little bit of time to Van der Meuren just ahead, but Spencer with the fastest lap of the race that last tour. He is really looking very quick at the moment, 2/10 faster than the race leader. Austin Knight rounding out the top 3. That's Chorley, Kellyman, Jolly, Wall with a good start, gaining 4 places to 7th. Sancinelli, Williams, and Hopley up into the top 10 now.
Yeah, we still got plenty of good battle packs going on here. This it's not really the kind of track I would expect these kind of draft packs, but I guess with this car anything is possible. As we have Spencer and Knight going at it again.
Yeah, Knight managing to, getting a little bit stuck on the inside there, loses a lot of momentum. Can't stay alongside, it's just helping the race leader, Van der Meuren, who's pulled away another 0.4 of a second just on this lap. Knight has to back behind again as Chorley and Kellyman almost go side by side into turn 1. Kellyman just backs out of it with that fantastic chrome livery. Superb addition to iRacing as well. We really are showing off the new elements of iRacing today. And Chorley just staying ahead of Kellyman for now. Jolly as well pretty close, but then there's a 4-second gap back to Sancinelli. You can just see him in the background there.
Yeah, it seems like Sancinelli is maybe slightly holding back this train here, but he's still... Oh, what has happened at the front?
Oh, well, that's the race leader, Van der Meuren, who's lost the car through the chicane, and he's lost the race lead. He was pulling away. It looks as though this could be a little bit comfortable for him. Anything but, because he's dropped down the order, down into 6th place. He's 5.5 seconds off the lead, and this is how it happened. Has he taken too much first curb? Oh, well, he's taken too much second curb, mainly, and well, he's very lucky not to completely damage the suspension there.
Yeah, he just took too much curb on the first one and then kind of just threw him off the line completely. But let's see, is there any damage? It seems like the car is still driving okay, so he just got away with it.
He might still be in the running for the race win if he can bang in some nice laps here, but without any slipstream, going to be tough to catch up to the drivers ahead. Knight managed to get past Spencer as well, so we've now got Austin Knight back in the lead. But these 3 guys in particular seem really evenly matched. I doubt any of them are going to be able to pull away from one another. You can see Spencer almost within passing range straight away. They're pushing super hard, but when you got the straights around this Lime Rock Park circuit, it's pretty much impossible to make a gap as Knight takes a little bit too much curb on the inside. Not fantastic gear change either there, and Paul Spencer easily moves back up into the lead. Will Chorley go with him? Certainly makes his presence known on the inside, but stays behind.
We've also had some issue between David Hall and Annie Rabbits.
Oh dear.
So this is coming through the final section. Oh,
Was that Rabbits going quite slow on the outside?
No, I think Rabbits was going okay, but I think David Hall was just going way too fast. Because this section has also changed with this new layout, so... yeah. The cars ahead were just going side by side, and I don't think Hall saw that there was also another car in there. Because it was completely covered by, I think, Rabbit's car.
Yeah, maybe serving a slide down as well to cut in the previous chicane. Almost 3 wide into turn 1. They all sort themselves out. Still, Spencer leading the way.
Oh,
As
we
we've
have
got
more.
off tracks for Wall, who had a superb start. Budzine as well, and I think
Yeah, please
Kramer has
don't
been involved in this as
rejoin with
well.
that.
Oh dear, and that's another contact, and that's surely going to be massive damage for another driver. That was Mo Agha, I believe, after an earlier collision. Tires flying all over the place, and with such a short circuit that can easily involve the drivers who are coming round to lap you. Here is how it happened. We're all running in about 10th place at this point, and made contact with, it's at the 77 car of Guy Budzine then.
Yeah, looks like also a little bit of netcode there because they were just merging together. And then something happened afterwards to Gary.
I think that was a mixture of, could have recognised the flags a little bit there and could have had a slightly safer rejoin. So,
Yeah,
Paul
could have.
Spencer back into the lead. Oh, that's a big side of Knights off the circuit and into the wall. And that is the end of his day. Sorry, that's Chorley off
It's
into
also
the wall.
Spencer.
And Spencer has got
And
massive
someone's
damage
nose
as
cone.
well. And this is just exhibiting the fragility of these cars now with the knee damage model. Well, Spencer will try to get that car back to the pits. They do get a fast repair, but in terms of getting a competitive result, this is all over. And now Knight, with the damage he's got, as you were saying, Sam, with losing the nose cone, this could be easy for Charles Kellyman to take the lead of the event.
Yeah, it seems like we're about almost halfway, and suddenly it just everything goes up in the air as Austin just goes off the track as well.
Andrew Hopley is only within 5 seconds of these guys now. He started last, did Andrew Hopley.
Yeah.
And he's got one of the cleanest cars out here. I mean, I don't know why he started from the back because he's a very quick driver. But he is making some very good calls at the moment. Going down the inside, that would have been a good call. And going into the back of your rival, that's also not a fantastic call. However, he is lining this one up nicely. He's got to get past Derek van der Muren, who, of course, spun for the lead. There's so many narratives in this race. We're struggling to keep up with all the action.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully up 14 positions, so I mean, he is definitely doing something right, considering the state of his car, which is just pristine at the moment. But let's not jinx it too much.
No. These are both quick drivers. If they work together, they could well get to the front very soon. The front is very close, by the way. You can see them just ahead. By the way, the driver just came to the pits was a back marker, as Knight going to have to go defensive. Now, this new damage filter, I'm not quite sure how it works in terms of this damage, whether that front nose cone will be hampering his downforce or whether it'll be affecting him down the straights. The old damage model didn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense with that, but through the corners he looks fine at the moment.
Yeah, I mean,
and,
he still has his front wing, so
yeah.
if anything, he's just getting some extra cooling there in the cockpit.
I think I'll be quite grateful for it. 29 degrees the temperature out here today. That's track temperature, to be fair. Nice 23 degrees, actually, air temperatures. But in that race suit, so I'm sure you'd like some cooling off. I think Van der Muren may have just missed the corner again at the chicane because lost the position to Hopley.
Yeah, don't see him going off track here, but it might be just it didn't register on the system yet.
By the way, we haven't talked about Lyndall McMurphy. He started on pole position. Well, he didn't start on pole position. He claimed pole position. Didn't take it, though. Started right from the back, from the pit lane. And is actually up into 9th place now. And this move should be pretty simple for him. Believe it or not. However, after this, not a whole lot of cars. He's only got one car within the next 10 seconds of him. So McMurphy will be very quick. Expect to see a few purple times from him, however. Doubt he's going to have time to really challenge the drivers for the podium.
And meanwhile, hopefully, he's moving up again. Now he is up to third, so I mean, at this rate, he will be basically fighting for the win. All the way from the back of the grid.
I feel slightly bad. I feel like he's a bit like the Carlos Sainz because whilst he's made up loads of positions, we don't think we've actually seen many of his overtakes apart from the one on Rabbits earlier on. But I'm sure we'll see if he takes the lead. We will certainly see those overtakes, and he's looking very good for a podium at the moment. And look at this. I mean, he's just you can visually see it after each corner. He's that much closer. Charles Kellyman's still very competitive, and we know how competitive he has been in the BSI MX5 series over the years. So he won't be easy to beat, and Austin Knight seemingly putting up a very good defense at the moment. Any one of these three drivers has a fantastic chance of winning this race.
Oh, and we have again some action here on the turn 1. It's also small white nose cone, and who might that belong to? Not sure, but Stuart is able to continue at least.
Here we go. Maybe a change for the lead. Knight versus Kellyman. Kellyman gets his car down the inside, doesn't go for the overtake though. Now I wonder if that was just caution, or maybe he's waiting till later points in the race. We're only just halfway through this event. In fact, we're not even halfway through. We're about to be halfway around this lap. An incredible amount of action so far. And like I was saying before, any one of these three drivers, plus a few others further down the field, could still win this event.
I mean, for Kellyman, he is clearly faster, I think. But
Oh,
now he's also...
Oh, and that was Hopley going into the back of
that was Hopley's nose
Kellyman.
cone.
And Kellyman's rear wing. So now we've got the top three drivers, all with different amounts of damage. And all three kind of have quite avoidable incidents.
Yeah, but I think Hopley still got the least of it at the moment, as Verve goes all the way off the track. As Kellyman regains the position, while we also have people joining in from the pits, and this is gonna be messy.
Van der Meer driving with, what, 3 drivers who are a lap down? Van der Meer in 4th place. So these are other 3 drivers, 2 behind him and 1 in front of him, not actually in this battle whatsoever for the race win, just a lap down.
Yeah, that's surely there's Musselwhite right behind and Budino in front, so this is really nice mix of cars that we have here.
And of course, with the damage for the front drivers, these back markers are keeping up with them. Of course, these back markers, I'm calling them back markers, they're midfield drivers who have had to take faster pairs so far in this event. They're by no means slow. To be fair to Knight, his lap time's only about half a second off what he was doing in practice. So not affecting too much that pace, however, that is some straight line speed for Charles Kellyman. I don't know if that rear wing has just given him some DRS somehow, but that is remarkable straight line speed. He pulls away easily, and Austin Knight with big trouble, he drops down into 3rd place. That was insane from Kellyman. How on earth did he do that?
Yeah, that was like watching LMP1 fly over the distance when you're driving GT3. Yeah. But it looked like maybe Hopley gave him also some little bit of bump drafting through the final corner.
Yeah, perhaps so. Certainly got the launch just right.
And Merve just launched off the curb again. But I was able to keep control this time.
The next driver down the road is Sancinelli, 5 seconds behind, and then there's another 9 seconds back to Rachel Williams. I mean, I wouldn't rule out Sancinelli of a race win by any means, because he's got the only clean car of the drivers in the top 5 currently.
Yeah, he was basically leading the train at some point, but seems like he has kind of dropped them and just has basically the track all to himself right now.
Bradshaw missing his nose at the moment, and well, just dangling off currently for the number 26 car, not having to come into the pits, however. I would love it if they kept out all the different debris on the circuit. However, once it becomes not visible to drivers, it disappears. I think if we did have that permanently on the track, it'd be a bit of a landfill site at the moment.
Yeah, I think especially with some series where we have 60 cars, it might be too much, I would say. Especially on tracks like street circuits like... I forgot the name. What was it?
Bella?
Yeah, Pelaaja. Exactly.
Yeah, all the different parts bouncing back onto the circuit. Spencer with a mistake.
Yes, just running wide there on the chicane.
He has set the fastest lap of the race, I believe, has Spencer. A 1 minute point 1 minute point 25.
You are correct.
Yes, that is sorry, Austin Knight, I think, is just passing with Van der Merwe out here. About 0.3 of a second between them. Fighting over third position currently. Or maybe it's a little bit further back than that, perhaps lost some time through the chicane. So Knight actually, I think, losing that position on this lap, so that damage. Whilst he managed to hang on to the lead for an extra kind of 6 or 7 laps after quite a hefty crash. Now you can really see the straight line speed difficulties for him. I mean, you can almost see his feet through that cockpit.
Well, I hope he had some thick socks there, so it doesn't get cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just overtaken by Musselwhite, who is basically lapped down.
Separating out in the lead now, Charles Kellyman with that broken rear wing. I think, to quote Rob Smedley, we've found the solution. Because he's been absolutely flying ever since he picked that up. And yeah, that's Vodafone McLaren Mercedes livery. Certainly doing him very well at the moment. He's 3.5 seconds ahead of Andrew Hopley, who's had a bit of a miserable lap this time round. He was 6 tenths slower on the last lap. Hopley also with a bit of damage. You can see his front nose a little bit off the car. As tries to follow the car number 34, Corey Boudinot, just in front of him. Kellyman with the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute point 24. Hopley 1.5 seconds slower that time round.
Also, I can report you that Kellyman, with the broken rear wing and no draft, he is basically the fastest car on the track when it comes to top speed. He's hitting 199. Let's see, can we get the speeds? Top speed, there we go. He is way faster than anyone else. Like, others who are in that range are just doing it in draft, but I don't know, maybe there's something to...
I mean, it makes sense from earlier on, because he, like you said earlier on, he was like a Porsche 919 earlier on down the pit straight, just storming past from like half a second back to half a second ahead. That was against Austin Knight, to be fair. He's got a lot of damage for whatever Kellyman's doing. I mean, his lap times are absolutely exemplary currently.
And he just hit 200 kilometers per hour.
Wow. And we saw no draft whatsoever that time now.
Yeah, so exactly.
Very nice. Bradshaw on the classic circuits. We've seen a few
very
drivers
classic looking,
reach that point.
It looks like some classic Formula 4 that he's also driving with no front wing.
Yeah. Still running in the top 10 is Bradshaw. Not sure if he's going to be able to stay out there, but whilst his nose is flapping a little bit, it looks okay for him. We're into the last 5 laps now for these drivers. Kellyman actually just behind the driver there.
Yeah, currently it has spread out after the incident, so what we're looking at is right now the closest battle that we have between Boudinot and Charlie. And the driver with them, who is that? That is... Trying to figure out.
Musselwhites?
Is it? No, is it? No, it's not.
Chorley? Oh, sorry, that's the battle that we're watching. Apologies.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, sorry, it's Andrew Hopley. I was desperately looking for drivers who are a lap down. It's a lap ahead driver, Andrew Hopley, second place man, 5 seconds off the lead. Seemingly with damage which is actually hurting his pace, unlike some of the other drivers. And, well, you can see, easy overtake there. Hopley in the slipstream of the car ahead. And, yeah, absolutely nothing to repel that attack. Oh, he gets a big slide, and that's Hopley surely round. No, he's managed to keep on going. Don't know how that was possible. Really had a massive slide there, did Andrew Hopley. That could have been playing second place in jeopardy. Austin Knight back up into third place, by the way. Lyndon McMurphy in fourth. He's had some pretty good times, says McMurphy. Might yet catch up to Austin Knight, actually. We'll just see him in the background. Knight, of course, starting in third place for this race. McMurphy starting from the pits. And I think he will catch up to the American driver quite easily by the end of the race. Rachel Williams in 6th place, Peter Jolly in 7th, then it's Spencer, Kramer, and Van der Meer, who had a pit stop about 10 laps ago, about 4 laps ago. Did Van der Meer, and he's about down into 8th place, but is lapping very quick.
Yeah, I think right now we're in this kind of weird phase of the race where everyone has this varying degree of damage. So even if at the moment we don't have close battles, it can change just like that, as Lyndon Murphy gets up to Austin Knight, and I think this will be an easy pass as soon as we get to the straight.
Yeah, might not even have to wait till then. He's got 8 seconds to catch, 8 seconds to catch up to Andrew Hopley, who is really slow out there. McMurphy's though only got 2.5 laps to close that gap, so I doubt he'll make it. He's certainly not taking any prisoners though. Oh, here comes Knight. Back down the inside, massively over the curves, and McMurphy has to avoid the curve himself by cutting the corner. Now, Knight has hit 2 curves really hard there. Probably in areas of the car though which are already missing. So he might be okay with it. I think he's going to be the definition of a sitting duck though down this pit straight, as here comes McMurphy. Will pull alongside, and the car number 63 comfortably moves ahead. By the time they even get to the start-finish line, a little bit of a slide though down the straight for McMurphy. It's ahead though on the entry to turn 1. He's got 10 seconds to catch up to Andrew Hopley, and only got 2 laps to do it.
And right behind them is Edgar Giancinelli, already looking for that 4th place from Austin. So, oh, what do we have here? Incident at the chicane, and is that actually pitch on the curb?
No, thankfully. I'd say thankfully. It would have been interesting to see how the other drivers dealt with that. Boudinot, I believe, was in quite a tight battle with another driver.
Let's see.
I think he was with Bradshaw or Chorley. Chorley maybe just sitting behind him here.
Yeah, just small contact there. But lost quite a few positions, as Giancinelli now also makes his way past Austin and moves up to 3rd. Did we see what happened to Hopley?
No, he didn't. Oh dear, Andrew Hopley out of the race. And Charles Kellyman is about to get to the checkered flag. But here is what happened to Hopley then. Is it by himself or... Oh, he's already got damage here. So I think he's gone over the curb because it looks as though he's damaged that wheel. Might have to get a replay of it in a second because Charles Kellyman coming out of the final corner. Damage or not, there was no stopping him today. Charles Kellyman crosses the line at Lime Rock Park and he wins at Lime Rock. Brilliant drive, 17 seconds clear of the rest of the field. Lyndon McMurphy, well, what could have been if he had taken to the grid, started from the pits though, and that is a remarkable 2nd place finish for him. Edgar Sancinelli, Mr. Clean out there, finishes in 3rd place. Not a scratch on that beautifully designed car. Austin Knight rounds out the top 4. Rachel Williams brilliant 5th place.
Oh, do we have an issue
Rachel
for
out there.
Spencer on the final lap?
Dear.
Yeah, he
Fortunately
is.
for him, up to 9th place were lapped. So he'll only lose about 1 place here. But I don't think he's going to get to the checkered
How
flag
did
from
he
there.
get there? I have no idea. He's on the outside of final corner, so that's Kramer that's coming through. I'm sorry, but I need to see how... What? Okay, so there's 2 cars. Well, that's the first time I've seen that.
So over the barrier then goes Spencer. He did finish though in 8th place. Hasn't crossed the line though, of course. So yeah, as the I think the session has its advanced. Quite sure. Not yet. Charles Kamen going to be able to do some donuts out here. Don't know if we could just get a replay again of the incident for Andrew Hopley. Because I'm really fascinated to see if it was over the curb that he got the damage from. I assume it's coming through this next section of corners. So he's fine at this point. Oh, actually, I think there's a spin just ahead of him. Oh, there we go. So it wasn't over the curbs, it was just contact with another driver.
But still the tire is okay.
Yeah, but it's when he turns around this next corner, it just folds underneath him there.
Yeah.
And decides to tow back to the pits, probably the safest option for him in that scenario. Unfortunately, because actually, has Paul Spencer gone back to the pits? I believe he has. So I think we can go through the final results now of this event. So Charles Kellyman wins out 17 seconds clear of Lyndon McMurphy, started in last place, of course. Edgar Sancinelli rounds out the podium. Then it was Austin Knight, Rachel Williams, Peter Jolly, who we didn't see too much of. Apologies, Peter, but very well done on that 6th place. Arjun Kramer was the last driver on the lead lap in 7th. Then behind that was Paul Spencer, Derek Vandermeer, Mark Chorley, Stuart Musselwhite, Mark Bradshaw, Corey Boudinot, Ian Wall, Michael Jones, Annie Rabbets, Andrew Hopley, RJ Wootenwood, Gary Boodzine, David Hall, and Mo Aghar. Those last couple of drivers were retirees. Pretty much everyone had a crash, and about half the field had to take fast repairs, but credit to everyone for sticking at it, and pretty much everyone got to the checker flag. Only a couple of drivers, and I mean, Paul Spencer had a good excuse, saying that he was on top of a barrier. So, interviews with some of the drivers, hopefully. Have we got anyone in the waiting room? Well, of course we do, because it's our co-commentator, Austin Knight, who is in for a chat with us. Eventful race, Austin. Really, the source of the result for you was that incident coming out of turn 1. Just take us through it from your perspective.
Oh my goodness. That was the most ridiculous race I've ever had in my life. The start, I've always loved starts. Starting here is something I've done well. I've driven on this track in real life, so I had the pace around here. I was pretty confident I would be up near the start. When I took the lead, I was like fist bumping in the air. I'm like, yeah, let's go. And then got overtaken. Wanted to make the move for P2. And I got passed up the inside. I'm like, all right, I'll let these two guys battle out. Maybe they're crashing right now. And I tried to avoid it best as I can, but it was all over the track. And I'm like, all right, cold trickle it, throttle down, and let's see what we lose. And it was unfortunately the entire front nose. And then it was probably the most ridiculous defending in my life. But as you were saying during the broadcast, my feet were pretty cold, and yeah, it was very fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that, because it was very fun and probably a arrow in the knee for me to be running the ARTV skin. But you know how I commentate with us. wanted to support the stream as much as I can, and well, give everyone a good old show, and I believe I did that. I still don't know how I held out P4.
What was remarkable about that was it took you about 3 laps to actually be overtaken by anyone once you got the damage. It was insane. I don't know how you managed to hang on to the lead for as long as you did. But how was it defending there? Because you were a sitting duck at times, and certainly in those last couple of laps when you were caught by a couple of drivers, that must have been really tricky to even try to keep those drivers behind.
It was very risky. I wanted to make it very hard for them, but not too hard that I'm breaking TOS or iRacing handbook, guys, because I'm an A-class driver. I've always been about safety rating, but I'm just so thankful that knowing all these guys that I've talked with, Charles Kellyman, I've commentated on him. We're good friends from the BSR Pro Series because we've casted together. And I'm just glad that all the top guys, all the incidents, they were all complete accidents by people. As the word accident just means nothing was on purpose. But I'm thankful that all these guys took it safe. I was letting them know on the bike that, hey, I have no front end speed, because when you lose the very tip of the nose, you drop front speed like crazy. And the fact that I lost the entire housing for the front end was just ridiculous. So I was a sitting duck. They were having fun with it. Everyone was all fine. I told them, hey, you just try to overtake me on the straight, because in the corners, I'm going to be defending as hard as I can. Pretty much, I was just holding off as hard as I could, driving my own line.
Definitely, and you did a very good job for much of the race. In terms of future events for you, what kind of championships are you taking part in, and are you going to be racing the skipping much for the rest of the season?
Skip Barber is a series that I've always loved to race in. I know you've heard some ambitions I have. I'm competing in the American Sunday Night Skippies event with a few other drivers in this race. We had our first test race last night at Brands Hatch. I'm also competing in the Majors series in the American Sports Cars Sportsman division for Wolfpack Esports, and that's going to be very fun. Yes, I have a life outside of commentary.
You see, that's unlike all us other commentators who we can't race whatsoever. We can't even drive a car. Unlike you, you're properly diverse. Playing a good name for us out there, Austin.
I'm nuts.
Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
I want to thank Annie and Larry, all of the SnailRacing community, for coming together and supporting those two and making this event possible, because I've always wanted to race with Annie. She is probably the nicest person out there. If you ever get a chance to talk with her, go subscribe to her channel at SnailRacing, because she's always nice, and it's always fun to race with the community of a creator, because everyone has like the same ideals with each other. I also want to thank y'all for broadcasting this and, just giving everybody a very entertaining race. I also want to thank Wolfpack Esports. They are my team, and they're just a whole bunch of sportive guys. They're obviously all much faster than me. And I also want to thank Saga, the San Antonio Gaming and Anime Association. Those guys been supportive a lot with my racing and with my dive into triple monitors, and want to thank Acer as well.
Well, thanks a lot for having a chat with us, Austin, and I'm sure we'll see you very soon on ApexRacingTV.
Yeah, you'll see me Thursday. You'll see me Friday and Saturday.
Awesome. See you then.
Peace.
So, next up, we will have a chat with 4th place Matt, Charles Kellyman, who is with us now. Charles, congratulations out there. Apologies, of course you won today. Mega impressive. I mean, some of the batsing out there looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it was absolutely awesome. There was a point where I could see the guys up in front, maybe about a second in front of me, battling. And with the new damage model, I thought I don't want to get involved in that, so I just held back. And it paid off.
yeah, works for you absolutely brilliantly in the end. We saw some of your straight line speed though out there. You were hitting 200 k's down the straights. You seemed to be the fastest driver out on circuit out there, despite having a bit of rear wing damage. Do you think you gained a bit of time with that damage, and do you think it compromised you at all?
I have no idea. To be honest, this is probably the second time I've driven the Skippy, this model. As Austin knows, I've been doing a lot of MX5 just lately, so it was going into the unknown for me, to be honest. But yeah, it paid off. Yeah, I think Hockley gave me a bit of a nudge, took some weight off the car.
Yeah, definitely. That certainly did seem to help a little bit out there. And in terms of this new Lime Rock circuit, how much experience have you got round here, and are you a big fan of it?
I really like it. I prefer this kind of the chicane to the previous one, although it is very, very tricky. I had to go in a hell of a lot slower than I guess I could, because, like I say, it's probably the second time I've been on this track on this car. But yeah, it was tonight was about keeping out of trouble, keeping the car as clean as possible. Yeah, it was really good. Looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Charles. Is there
thank
anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Annie and Larry, obviously, for putting this on. I almost didn't make it because I've been out doing car shopping today. But yeah, thank you to Annie and Larry for putting this on, and looking forward to the next one whenever that is.
Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Charles.
Thank you.
Best of luck in the future.
Take care. Bye-bye.
So I think our third and potentially last interview will be with Ian Wall.
Very pretty. Pretty livery.
Congratulations, Ian. Apologies for interrupting your conversation. But it was a really good race on there. We'll start with probably the best point of the race. Your start. I saw you up 4 places, I think, after the first couple of laps.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, bit of dodgem cars. I was a bit nervous because, you know, everybody wins the race on that first corner. So I was trying to not get hit or not hit. But no, it was Larry and Annie. I mean, you know, thanks to them, this was a really, really good fun time. Really was.
Definitely, and I'm just looking at your pit stops. I think you made a pit stop on lap 6 in the race. Just take us through kind of what your crash was, which required you to take a fast repair.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was catching up with these guys, and there you go. You see, I think this was probably a bit further back in the race. I think this one was probably after I got hit. But I kept catching up with these with the front pack, and for some reason they were slowing down and letting me past them. So I was just going for it, you know, to see if I could get back up onto the lead lap after having someone jump on me. The Skippy is such a fun car around here. You float down to this corner, flat out in 4th gear, just a little tiny lift and back on the gas, and then drop it down into 5th, and you're just trying to be close enough behind the guy in front to get a little suck along, a little toe. And you're booting down here and hoping that there's no one going to try and stick it down the inside of you. And then just driving it around here using your throttle basically to steer the car. And as you come out to this little corner, it's closing up on you, so drop it a gear and then floor it, and then you're basically just sliding flat out, third, flat out, and it's just sliding around there. And it gives you a really good push off that corner to get down inside of here. Of course, this is where everybody slams on their brakes and does weird things, but if you get it right, you're flat on the gas into 2nd gear there, and you can see that I'm now back up behind him, and looking to get by. And you're in 4th gear around there, and you just keep your foot on the floor. You just flat all the way down here. And like I say, just a little lift. Later on in the race, as the tires are nice and sticky and you lost a bit of weight from the gas, you're probably doing that almost in 5th gear, flat out, and you just come floating along down through here. And then pull out and try and pick him up on the corner. As I did. And then, of course, there's a whole bunch of people in front of me crashing, so I was like on the brakes like crazy here. Yeah. It slowed me right down. I mean, look at the people in the background. I was like, oh my gosh. and then this guy, whoever that is, with a broken wheel.
Yeah, we saw a lot of that action out there today. In terms of in terms of your other racing, Ian, do you tend to race the Skippy, and kind of what series are you taking part in at the moment?
Well, I started off not. I'm pretty new to iRacing. I've only been doing it for about, I don't know, 3-4 months, and I've never been a racer before that. In real life, I used to do a lot of rallying and a lot of off-road rallying. I have a custom designed, and I say in big inverted commas, a 1979 short wheelbase Land Rover that we used to do a lot of off-road racing and running in, which was great fun. Rallying, really, not racing. But got into this and tried the Mazdas and a few others and thought, oh, these feel like boats. And then started running the Skippy, and I just love it. It's like driving a little go-kart. It's awesome.
Yeah, it really
me
is.
being polite and giving lots of space.
Yeah, it's a fantastic car to drive, certainly, especially around this circuit. And thanks for having a chat with us, Ian. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Well, just Larry and Annie again, because without them we wouldn't have done this, you know. And I wasn't even sure I was going to get in it because I had work stuff. I'm actually based out of the US on the East Coast, so it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's nearly 5 o'clock in the afternoon now. So I wasn't quite sure I was going to get time off out of the office to get this done, but I did, and I'm really pleased I did. And again, thanks to them, this was just so much fun.
Absolutely. Well, hope to see you back on Apex Racing TV very soon, Ian.
Absolutely love it. Take care, guys.
So that was Ian Wall, who managed to get a good result today, 15th place for him. I think it was 15th place, it was certainly around that. Next up, probably our last interview, will be Annie Rabetz.
Yeah, in case it's only
on
two...
this event. And again, we rudely interrupt small conversations. We have heard about that on Apex Racing TV. But Annie, fantastic. Thanks for playing on this event. It was a great success, I thought.
Hi, Sam. Good evening. Yes, no, thank you very much for doing this. Yeah, no, it was a fantastic race. I had loads of fun, and I was truly honored that all these guys took the time to get into the Skippy to join me for some, my snail racing.
Well, take us through kind of the incident that kind of you got involved in. It seemed to be a little bit of a, I think it was at the penultimate corner where there was a bit of a crash.
Yes, no, to be honest with you, it happened so quick. I'm not too sure 100% what happened there, so I'll have to go and watch the replay. But I think someone just nudged me a little bit, and there was a bit of a crash. So luckily, it was just close to the pit lane, so I managed to crawl to the pit lane and just get my repair done. But yeah, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure what happened, so I'll have to go and watch the replay. But it was a good race. It was good fun. Yeah, and I enjoyed it very much so.
Absolutely, and just looking back on this year, I believe your channel started this year. I mean, the reception that you've got, the growth of the channel, you must be absolutely, amazed by, how successfully how successfully it's gone.
I am. I truly am. When we started SnailRacing YouTube, Larry and I thought we'll take 2 years to get 100 subscribers, and yeah, it's 4 months and we're nearly at 1,000 subscribers. So the support and the love I'm getting from the community is just absolutely tremendous, and we're totally gobsmacked. Can't believe that we are where we are so quickly. It's brilliant.
And looking forward to next year, of course, you're taking part in the Sim Racers World Endurance Series. Have you got any other plans for 2020 coming up?
Oh, well, at this stage, the endurance series is for I think until June. So I've got another 5 races going. So that's going to take most of my time, to be honest, practicing in the TCR, and because majority of the tracks, because I'm so new to iRacing and sim racing for that matter, I don't know a lot of the tracks. So a lot of my time is spent getting to learn the tracks and where I can be better and take turns better. And, so next year is definitely TCR, concentrating on the first half alongside the Skippy. After June, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'll see after June. At this stage, I'm just going to concentrate out on the Skippy and the TCR and take it from there.
Definitely. It will be fantastic to follow your progress on your YouTube channel. Before we let you go, Annie, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Oh, I actually want to thank Austin Knight. Austin has been absolutely brilliant in the background, helping Larry and myself, because it's the first time that we've hosted a race. And so Austin has been an absolutely support column and system for us. So Austin, thank you so much. And then, of course, to all my subscribers and supporters and Facebook folk and everybody, just thank you for all your love and support.
Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Annie. Thanks for putting on this event, and we certainly hope to see more of you on Apex Racing TV in the future.
Fantastic. Thank you for having me, Sam. Thank you for the interview. Thank you for the broadcast.
So that was Annie Ribetz then, race organizer, of course, and certainly do check out her YouTube channel, SnailRacing. So Sam, a really good event today. That was an action-packed race, to say the least, but it was hugely entertaining.
Yeah, action-packed, and I think even more so than we were expecting. I mean, of course, it wasn't a huge grid that we saw in this race, but I mean, despite that, it was just, I think, right way to finish this year, and then look forward to next year then again.
Yeah, I think this might be our last commentary of the year. So, thanks for tuning in on Apex Racing TV this year, and hopefully you'll watch us for the next decade as well. Of course, in terms of racing coming up, it really is getting back underway, and certainly within the next 2 weeks or so. We'll have UOV8 starting up. I think we're going to have Sim Racers World GT Series starting up. Maybe even World GT as well. ARL TCR is getting back underway as well. So just, subscribe to the channel. You'll be up to date with all our broadcasts. And also do check out our Twitch channel and our Facebook page, Instagram and Twitter as well. And also do check out the iRacing Esports Network, because we broadcast there a few days a week as well. But thanks to Annie Ribetz once again. Do check out SnailRacing YouTube channel. Over 1,000 subscribers on there, so some fantastic content. And I've been Sam Fitzpatrick and Sam Kume, and we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.